During the 16 Days of Action 2022 campaign,
Coerced Girls on Fire and Tech Shack Tactical TV interview ordinary but outstanding women.
Hashtag I am every woman.
In our interviews, we honor outstanding businesswomen who have made a difference in their specific sphere of society to ladies who have overcome horrific gender-based violence incidences.
We believe in action, not activism.
Why are women continually cast as helpless victims?
Bystanders to their own fate, presuming that victimhood is a fait accompli. We are not simply deer in the headlights of gender-based violence.
We can and will stand up for ourselves.
We are not second-class citizens who need special days and men standing up for us.
We say no more.
Activism does not change the minds of predators.
Predators will always be predators, waiting in the dark to claim their victims. Standing on street corners with placards saying that we are against gender-based violence has and never alone make a difference. Take action now, not to be a victim, and be a strong woman. Do not put your trust in anybody else except yourself. Take the example from the strong women in these interviews and be a warrior. Hashtag victim no longer.
The network CEO for Tech Shack Tactical TV and Coerced Girls on Fire, and for the 16 Days of Action for No Violence Against Women and Children. I'm here with Mpumi Ranaka, and welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. You've done a lot, been all over the show.
True. So born in 1981 in Meadowlands Clinic, Soweto, and grew up a bit in Soweto very early in my life. Then we moved to the East Rand. So the East Rand took me in, and that's where I became a teenager and a mother. And shortly after that, when I was 22, I left South Africa for Abu Dhabi to go work in Middle Eastern Airline, and then moved around the world. From there, I lived in Hong Kong and Bahrain and back again in Abu Dhabi before coming back home to want to have my children be grounded in the South African culture.
I don't think everybody moves out, but yes, we do live in a dangerous country, but it's a nice country. I wouldn't like to be anywhere else.
This is a world in one. I can tell you that from what I've been able or been gifted and been blessed to experience, I really call South Africa a world in one, because having been in different parts of the world, you get bits and pieces of each, but here you get it all. The weather, the climate is just really
amazing. And the people are actually quite nice.
Look, we are beautiful people. We really are beautiful people, black and white alike, and everything in between as well. We are beautiful people. I just feel that human beings get triggered, and human beings react differently to triggers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the difficult one, what happened to you that changed your life? And did it change your life?
It did really change my life. It's one of the things that you can see my body language change right away. Yes. It did really change my life, and it's still a work in progress, because healing is not linear, and healing never ends, I believe. You just choose to be a better person out of it, and you choose what to take out of it and what not to take out of it. At the age of 16, I used to be a Girl Scout. So I made a pact with myself, with the Scout's honor, that I would be a virgin until I get married. And a few weeks after that pledge that I'd taken, I got violated, I got raped.
By a friend, by a stranger?
This person is not a stranger. It's not a stranger at all. It's somebody that I always saw in my community. And there's something, well, not really trusted. It was somebody who I never spoke to, but it was a common face. And every time I passed by, last night I was having a conversation with some young ladies, and I said, a person who's going to rape you or do something back to you always tells you in many ways, shapes or form.
Explain to me.
Yeah. So as I would walk past the street, he would say things like, "You're growing up for me,"
and with that look,
and it's a disgusting look, a look of lust, and therefore I never used to reply to that. And on the unfortunate day, and it happened many times, on this unfortunate day, my parents were not home at the time that they were normally home for, and then I panicked. And now I know that I've had anxiety for a long time. So my thoughts went from one extreme to the most impossible extremes. You know, once you start to imagine, oh, what if my mom is in a car accident? What if my dad, right? So I reacted out of fear, and all I wanted was a rand, because we still had those telecom public phones, the blue ones, and at the corner of the street. So all I wanted was a rand, really, to be able to call their cell phone just to find out where they are, if they're okay. And the first person I bumped into was this guy, and I just went, can I have a rand, please? And then he gave me a rand, and I said, thank you, and I ran, and I got what I wanted from my parents. They were home shortly after. And then I had to reply the hellos with another hello from a gratitude point of view, right? And a few weeks later, I was coerced into a friend of his had asked that I accompany him to get something from town. And that friend was a friend of mine as well. And the rule of the house is that nobody leaves this house without being notified, or somebody coming and saying that, may I request 1, 2, 3. So that said friend came into the house, and because it's the rule of the house and it was one of the measures that my parents had put as rules of, of the government, of the home, it was seen as legit. My dad said, okay, yes, you can go, and I saw that as legit. And we got into a taxi, but something happened, Lynette. When I got into the taxi, there was this voice inside of me that kept on saying, get out, get out, get out,
I do believe in that
yeah.
voice. It's we do feel things. We feel something is wrong.
Yeah.
And if you feel, I always say to ladies, if you feel something is wrong, get out. That's what I always say.
I'm getting goosebumps right
same
now.
here.
Yeah. So it was like, get out, get out, get out. And I'm sitting in a taxi, and it's Thursday, and it's after school, and I'm in my school uniform, and the taxi is not full. The minute the taxi started the engine after being full, and it just got the first wheel into the main road, that voice kept quiet. And still feeling uncomfortable, but the voice was gone. So now I'm not thinking about it anymore, so I'm accompanying my friend. Little did I know that it was being taken to the lion's den. We never got to that place. And I never told the story in this manner. We never got to that place. And when we got to it, it was somewhere in Q Court. I've never been to Q Court. I don't know if people know Benoni, if it's Benoni or Boksburg or something.
I actually don't know Benoni a bit.
Yeah, there's a place called Q Court. I can never forget that. And it is a place full of firms. So then I thought, but where's the shop? It's like, no, there's this, these funny little Coca-Cola written shops.
Yeah.
That sell pap and flakes and stuff. So it was in that shop. And when he got there, he started drinking beer. And I was like, but when are we going? But when are we going? No, we'll go now, we'll go now. No, we'll go now. Lynette, I sat there until the 8 o'clock news came on. And when those news came on, all I was thinking was, oh my God, my parents. My parents are sitting watching. And there were no cell phones at that time. There's absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And all I have is that I've been given permission to go. Soon after, this man walked in, and I knew it was try time for me. And when you're in that situation and they say turn left, turn right, you are going to oblige. You are not going to run away. I don't know the place. I don't know if I'm running this way, where am I running to, or whatever.
Time before cell phones.
Yeah.
Which is quite significant.
Yeah, right. So we get at the back of a van, and the back of the van looks similar to that one over there, and it's covered at the back with not covered with the canopy that's all covered, right? It's got windows, but the windows are painted, so you can't see inside, you can't see outside. But then there was a mattress at the back there, and I was put in that in that place. I knew where we were driving by the way it felt in my body. My body said to me, you're almost home, because I knew that, okay, so we're going to have, it feels familiar now, and I'm not seeing anything, but I've got my eyes closed, and I'm like, okay, if this is where we are and we're home, there's going to be a stop sign, there's going to be filling station, there's going to be robots, we're going to stop. There's going to be a stop sign. So, and it happened in that manner. Then the gentleman that I went with left, and I was taken into a home where when we walked into, I just saw a lot of women shackled in chains.
So human trafficking?
I don't know what it was, but that's just what it was, right? It's like I'm 16 years old and I don't know, and I'm looking at these ladies, excuse me, and one of the ladies says, tell him not to put it in too hard.
Sure.
So I'm put in this room and I'm locked inside, and now I need to use the toilet.
And you're a virgin?
And I'm a virgin. So it was a fight. I put up a fight. So I had my legs intertwined like that because I also did ballet. And with that intertwining of the legs, he started to pinch me on the outside. So, common sense really, I suppose. And I did whatever I could to keep my legs intertwined. And sadly, the fight stopped when the pistol was kissing the side of my head. And I just remember asking that, whatever you're going to do, at least use a condom, The next morning, I was alone in that room, and when I looked on the floor, the condom was unused. And now I know what an unused condom looks like, right? And it happened, and I walked home. First thing I did was walk to the police station, and when I got to the police station, I was certain that I want to report this crime. And I didn't know, I've never been into a police station. I'm scared, and this is now intimidating, so, and I walked into the courtside, and I remember men dressed in brown, shiny shoes. And I approached them and told them what happened, and all they said was, "Fatak, fatak, 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 get out of here."
Unfortunately, the police...
So I walked out and I walked home. When I got home, I got beaten up by my mom. And I was told by this man, if I tell anybody, then my parents only have 6 months to live. So I kept quiet for many, 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 many years.
Your mom was cross because she didn't come home.
Yeah. I wish you could have asked. Now I'm a mom. I wish you could have asked the question,
It's a difficult story, and I recently spoke to a lady, one of the other survivors, quite close by, and she got raped by somebody as well, and she was 14 years old. And her dad called her a whore afterwards. And
nobody believes you.
And they don't believe you, and then she tried to commit suicide.
I did the same. And, because the voice is, there's nothing as painful as being silenced.
That's absolutely
it's so painful because you walk every day and your mind just, if people were to understand what the mind is capable of doing when you are on survival mode. So you asked the question that how has this affected my life? It has, because I realized that I've never been in love with anybody or any man. People that were in my life were there to protect me. So it was tall, masculine, and older than me, and more so same age as that person, so that at least if ever it happens, I've got somebody that can protect me. And just of recent, I've just decided that, we're going to go celibate, we're going to go back to 16-year-old Mpumi, and we're going to fetch her and just deal with her slowly but surely. I don't take crap from no one now. My voice will never be silenced. And even whether it's a family squabble or whatever or something, if the energy is wrong, I don't want to be in it, and I just don't want to be in it, and I refuse.
And that's the only way you can change things. I do believe that women are warriors.
Yeah.
And we have a voice and we have a choice. And I think what influenced me last Friday is one lady that doesn't have hope.
Yeah.
And you have to have hope. You have to do something for yourself and believe in yourself and get out there. Otherwise...
Absolutely. Yeah, the journey of hope has been that now I'm a qualified counsellor.
And do you deal with other... You spoke about speaking to other ladies
Yes,
recently.
I do speak to ladies about it. I speak openly about it. I speak candidly about how the body betrays you and how women find themselves feeling guilty. Because I've done a lot of research in my own little space. And in my own little mind, I've made those conclusions based on the research that I've done, because it was, aha moments for me that, oh, wow, that's why a lot of women feel guilty. That's why a lot of women don't talk. It's not mainly about how, yes, it is, of course, we're not diminishing that you get silenced and you get victimized, you get re-victimized over and over. But at the same time, you also have to deal with the betrayal that the body does while you're being raped, because there's nobody's body who's designed to be raped, Yeah. So some women hold their rapists, some women gyrate, some women do all sorts of things, and some women get into Stockholm Syndrome and start dating them and give birth to the children that, So these are real life stories that I feel that shape the way I deal with my talks when I speak to somebody, to say that I don't only want to speak to you about, oh, shame, let's have a pity party. I also want to give you tools to be able to use on your day-to-day, like I learned in the mental hospital. It's not everybody that is blessed to be able to have the kind of mental hospital treatment that I received.
When did it happen soon afterwards, or only
No,
later?
yes.
It usually takes
Much
time.
later. I was never the one that I don't need to see a shrink. I don't need to go see somebody. I've got music. Music heals me. Until I broke down. My mind.
How old were you?
It was 2 years ago.
So,
I'm 42 in February.
so these things were below the surface the whole time.
Absolutely, all the time.
Did it influence your decisions in your marriage?
It did. And my ex-husband as well is part of the people that were chosen because of survival, you know. And now I'm at that space in my life to say that it ends with me. If I continue with this, I'm going to bring it forth. It's energy. You know, misery loves company. So I'm going to bring it onto my child. I'm going to bring it onto, so I don't want to ever have to open the door to police saying my son did this. I don't ever want to open the door to my daughter running into the house and with her torn down shirt and ripped apart and you know. I don't want my daughter to be savaged, and I don't want my son to be savaged either, nor neither do I want them to savage other human beings. So the journey of healing has been rough because I have my first child is a girl child, and the overly protectiveness that I have over her life would really risk us in the relationship that
Absolutely.
we have, you know, because I want to protect her
With everything
with
you have.
everything I have. And you know, if somebody does anything bad to her, I don't like to hate, but it's a lifetime of hatred that would come as a guarantee. No bars given, you know.
But you survived,
Yes.
and you have a wonderful business that you're doing.
yes.
So let's talk about something positive. So
Yeah.
you made
Out of
something
that pain.
out of that pain, something something came out. The phoenix came out.
Yes, absolutely. So I think the business idea is not from me. I think it's a gift from the universe, really. And ever having conversations with God and whoever we call, you know, the higher power, which I like to say we walk on. Every day I wake up, I'm grateful for being allowed to walk on God's belly, you know.
Yeah.
Every day I'm just really grateful to be able to see this new day, to see how I evolve. And I never thought I would be able to do the things that I do. So I then got gifted the gift of this business, and a bedding business. And as it unravels, I realized that out of that pain, because I was a virgin, I was raped on someone's bedding. And it is still difficult for me when I'm not well to sleep on a bed. You know, I'd rather sleep on the sofa. So just creating a la and a pleasant sleep, you know, and gifting somebody that pleasant sleep, and hoping that that energy and that love that I put into it exudes in people's bedrooms as well, to say that even if you're going through a tough time or you've got doldrums, you know, when we sleep, I believe we practice death every day. So at least have that peaceful moment. Yeah.
Fantastic. If you have a message for women out there during 16 days, and as you can see, I changed activism to action.
To action, yes.
Because activism doesn't change. It's not going to change the perpetrators that sit in the dark, and they will always
be there. We just need to.
And you're not going to change them, but by saying to them, please change. The only way you can do something is to have action in yourself as a person. And I do believe women are warriors. And so, what's your message for the young women out there?
The young women out there, for me, is that there's the lips that you have on your face, and those lips have got the same texture as the lips that you have in between your legs. Now, if you can open those legs, open your mouth as well. Yeah. Make sure that if anybody opens it forcefully, open this forcefully as well, you know.
Speak up.
And then you just really speak up. It's the same texture, what so above, so below. And also just a very positive and powerful message, and maybe an aha moment for a lot of women, especially for myself being a survivor, is that I had to come to the realization that there are women who abuse men out there.
Absolutely, I've seen it.
Yeah, right? And there are men, absolutely, who abuse women. So the G in GBV is not for feminine. It's for the human that is being abused. So if we were to start seeing as that, and just having healing experiences, and it is okay to be alone and not lonely. It is okay to start over, and it is possible. If I could live the rest of my life just proving that to myself, And whoever is also a spectator then just takes those little beams of sunshine to say, I needed that. And I am just the older sister that I wish I had. I never had that kind of older sister that I had, that I could run to say, sis, this is what happened to me.
Yeah.
And I had an older sister in the house, and sadly it just never became that. And I'm 42, and I'm honest enough to say that because I was so guilty to say that before, because families, family. But if the support wasn't there, it wasn't there. We can't make something out of it. So if you don't have the support in the home, do find there's people out there. The world will bless you with people who will want to listen to you, who will listen to you, and who will teach you and lead you in the right directions. I mean, look at my life now, and I have to pinch myself every day. I'm just grateful for the little things, and even more grateful for the bigger things, and I just really hope it doesn't stop. So 16 days of action, we just really take action, get to know yourself, get to know your no. A no is a no, silence is a no, a no before a yes is a no, the only yes is a yes. So anything else that comes in between is absolutely a no, and boundaries.
And that was not your story. So somewhere you said, that is not my story.
It's not mine. I'm not that person. I'm not saying that is my rapist. How dare I own that? I'm not going to own that piece of shit. No, I'm not.
Absolutely.
But it happened to me, and it happened to me. Sadly, I can't be part of conversations on round tables to say, so how did you lose your virginity? It's a trigger. It's always been a trigger, but now I can talk about it, that rape happened to me. I wasn't raped.
Absolutely.
So if I say I was raped, then I'm owning that, I'm telling that as my story, then then I'm leading a negative lifestyle. Rape happened to me. I didn't ask for it, And then there's a bigger part of it all, that we only look at rape. There's people that have these experiences, like myself, then who get sexually transmitted diseases out of this nonsense, And at that time, you're 16, you don't know, but you start smelling funny. You start looking at things and luckily we've got doctors. Thank God I don't have AIDS.
The lady that I interviewed last Friday, the 14-year-old, she actually got a sexually transmitted disease. So
thank God I don't have it.
But you don't have to say thank God. It shouldn't have happened to you in the first place.
It shouldn't have happened to me in the first place, True. Thanks for that.
Thank you very much. Can I have
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. It was lovely speaking to you.
Lovely to speak to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm a girl on fire. I'm not a victim. A girl on fire. I'll stand my ground. Girl on fire. I've made a choice. I stand proud. I'm a girl on fire. I'm a mother, a daughter, a sister, a friend. I'm every woman. I have taken up arms and I choose to defend all that I hold dear. Independent and strong, you will not keep me down. You can't break me. I'm a girl on fire. I'm not a victim. A girl on fire. I'll stand my ground. Girl on fire. I've made a choice. I stand proud. I'm a girl on fire. Countless hours on the range, I am responsibly armed. I am your equal. I've empowered myself. I have practiced and trained. Fear won't control me. With my sisters in arms, we will make ourselves heard. We'll stand together. I'm a girl on fire. I'm not a victim. A girl on fire. I'll stand my